There are voices you don't hear with your ears. They come in the quietest moments, when your head is bowed in the night, when you've just messed up, or when you feel alone, even in a crowded church. They don't scream at you. They whisper in your heart, like a cold breath slipping through the cracks in your faith. I've heard one of them before. I thought it was my own voice, but it was a lie. Not just one, but three. 3 lies the enemy sows. So you'll close the doors of your life to God all by yourself. No chains, no persecution, just a false belief that you live as if it were true. The first lie, you're not good enough for God to use. It came at my weakest moment, when I looked back at my past, the failures, the mistakes, the shame. Then that voice came, don't get up again. There's someone better than you. Don't disgrace God with your presence. So I sat down. I stayed silent. I called it humility, but it was fear, dressed in righteousness. Then I saw Moses, a murderer, yet called to lead a nation out of Egypt. I saw Jacob, a deceiver who stole a blessing, yet was renamed Israel. I saw Mary Magdalene, once possessed by 7 demons, yet the first to hear her name spoken on resurrection morning. And I realized they were all once not enough. But grace isn't a reward for the worthy. It's fire falling on those kneeling in ashes. The enemy doesn't need to destroy you. He just needs to silence you, and he wins. If you believe that God only chooses the unscarred, the second lie, you must be perfect to be loved. This is the most dangerous lie, because it wears the mask of devotion. It makes you offer up perfect prayers but never real tears. It lets you lift your hands in worship, but hide your heart. I wasn't afraid of God. I was afraid he would see the real me. I remember Adam and Eve. After they sinned, they didn't die instantly. They hid in the bushes. For the first time in human history, clothes were not made for beauty, but to cover shame. And God didn't come to punish. He walked into the garden and asked, "Where are you?" I remember Elijah, the prophet who called down fire from heaven, who led a nation to bow before Yahweh. But afterward, he ran. He wanted to die, and God didn't rebuke him. He gave him bread, water, rest. True love doesn't demand your perfection. It comes to you while you're still unclean, and starts from there. The enemy doesn't need you to reject God. He just needs you to live like a runaway child, trying to clean yourself up just to be allowed back home. The final lie, you've gone too far to return. This isn't condemnation. It's mockery. It doesn't say you're sinful. It whispers, is it even worth trying anymore? I believed that. After falling again, after prayers that barely left my lips, I lived like a son without a key, circling the doorstep of grace, but never stepping in. I remember Peter, who denied Jesus 3 times, after vowing he would die for him. But after the resurrection, Jesus didn't call him traitor. He asked, "Do you love me?" 3 times, one healing for each failure. I remember Mark, the one who abandoned the mission. Paul once refused to take him again, but later, Paul would write, "Bring Mark with you. He is useful to the ministry." I remember a Jewish legend that for every soul near despair, an angel is sent, not to carry them home, but just to whisper, "Turn around, the door is still open." The enemy doesn't need to lock the door. He just needs to plant shame deep enough that you never dare touch the handle. 3 lies. 3 knives hidden in the heart of the called. No one sees the blood, but you know, something is bleeding out day by day. Faith thins. Courage wears down. The voice of calling grows faint. But then, in that dark, I heard another voice, Not pushing, not shouting, just calling my name, with a tone that knew exactly who I was, and loved me still. You are mine. I have called you by name. You've never left my sight. And when I finally stood up, still shaking, still messy, still unsure, I realized I didn't need to be perfect to come back. I just needed to be honest enough to stop running